Yeah, some big breaking news coming in. 66 passengers have tested positive on the cruise ship Mumbai to Goa. In fact, the party cruise, on that cruise, there was a New Year party that was to take place. The ship took off from Mumbai to Goa. One crew member tested positive. We're looking at least 66 passengers who have now come out to be positive on that cruise ship, the Cordelia cruise ship. Here you have this cruise that you see on your screens becoming the new hotspot, COVID hotspot. Almost 2,000 people ventured out on that cruise. We're looking at 66 passengers who've now come out positive for COVID-19. This cruise took off from Mumbai to Goa and had 2,000 people on board. There were several people who came. In fact, they were boarded for a New Year party that was to take place on that Cordelia cruise ship. It was 2,000. The numbers, of course, overwhelming considering we're looking at a COVID Omicron scare. And Mumbai itself has imposed such strict restrictions. Despite that, the Cordelia cruise ship, which took off from Mumbai, had 2,000 people on board that ship. Wonder how they would have managed social distancing or any protocols of COVID-19 on that cruise ship with 2,000 members on board. It's hard to believe that they could have really followed COVID protocols on that ship. But now, shockingly and unsurprisingly, 66 people on that cruise ship have now turned positive. Their results are out and they've shown positive for COVID-19. This comes right after one crew member reported positive, and right after that at least 2,000 people were tested. We're not too sure if all 2,000 and their test results have come out, but for now what we hear is that among the many passengers on that ship, 66 members have come positive for COVID-19. Saurabh Akhtania joining us for more on that. Saurabh, that Cordelia cruise party has once again turned into a COVID hotspot. We're looking at 66 passengers that have tested positive for COVID-19 out of the 2,000 passengers. Now, give us some details. 2,000 passengers on that cruise ship, a year-ender party, a New Year's party on that ship where you have COVID protocols in place in Mumbai. Goa also not allowing such large gatherings. But on the cruise ship, it appears that all protocols were quashed and they were happy to take 2,000 people on that cruise ship. And unsurprisingly, 66 of them have shown positive for COVID-19. What's the result now? What are they going to do?
Well, Nabila, this is most important part to investigate because, Mumbai is witnessing the highest number of COVID-19 cases. The Omicron cases are also highest in Mumbai. And this particular cruise ship with over 2,000 people starts off from Mumbai. So what has happened is one of the crew member few days back was reported tested positive in the antigen test. Now, when this particular cruise ship few days back reached Goa, the Goa government had refused to give the permission to dock the ship at the Goa cruise terminal. They said that the Goa is already witnessing so many cases, and if this cruise ship passengers actually deboard in Goa, it can be a huge COVID scare. So what the Goa government initially did is they did not allow anyone of the cruise ship passengers to get off board. The initial permission was not given, but later on, a special medical team was sent by the Goa government. There was a huge medical team. They all wore a PP kit and over 2,000 people were actually tested. RT-PCR test was done. And now today, shockingly, over 66 people, passengers, which includes a few crew members as well, they have all been tested positive for COVID-19. What now the Goa government is doing is, now they are trying to make a safe gateway. What they will be doing is, they are going to give a dedicated place wherein all these passengers can be kept under quarantine. If they need any medical treatment, then the doctors will be sent in. They're also having an opinion that whether if the passengers who are tested positive are asymptomatic, then they can stay on cruise ship only. So they don't need to deboard this particular cruise ship. So the current meeting of the Goa government with the Health Minister Vishwajit Rane is right now going on. So only later on the decision will be taken. So first of all, they are checking that whether all the 66 passengers can be deboarded, can be kept at particular place in Goa for quarantine, or they need a medical treatment. And again, a retest of rest of the people should be done, and only after that they can be deboarded. Let me tell you, yesterday the permission was given by the Goa government to dock the ship at particular cruise terminal, after which it was docked at the Goa cruise terminal. But there was a high security outside this particular cruise ship. Nobody was allowed to deboard. Nobody was allowed to go near this particular cruise ship. And high-level inquiries also initiated. Like I told you, that Mumbai is already witnessing the highest number of COVID cases, highest number of Omicron cases. Then how, with over 2,000 people on board, left from Mumbai to Goa? The cruise officials are right now not willing to talk to media. I spoke to one of them. They said that they will be initially issuing a statement in an hour or so.
Right. Saurabh, what's shocking is that the passengers were allowed to board in such large numbers. 2,000 is not a small number. You can barely have 2,000 as a crowd in an open venue anywhere in the country. And if there is a crowd like that, then there's huge security. It's got to be a massive open area. But here you have the cruise ship in the limited space has 2,000 people. How could they have possibly adhered to any COVID protocols in place? While state governments have been very strict, Mumbai has been so strict in curbs, night curfews, etc. How is this ship allowed to take off with 2,000 passengers? We're still unable to believe that this even happened.
Well, definitely, Nabila, because let me tell you, just 15 days before 31st of December, there was Section 144 which was imposed in the city of Mumbai. Mumbai is witnessing over 8,000 cases every day. Highest number of Omicron cases are in Mumbai. There is a complete ban on people who to go in the public spaces like sea faces, beaches. Not more than 5 people at once is allowed in public places. And here is we are seeing that over 2,000 people for a year-ender party boards this particular cruise ship. And let me tell you, they boarded this cruise ship from the Mumbai International Cruise Terminal. This particular cruise ship heads to Goa. One of the crew, as a protocol, one of the crew members was going through an antigen test. Now, this was very luckily that this crew member actually got himself tested for antigen test, after which all the passengers were tested, and over 66 passengers are now been tested positive in the RT-PCR report. Now, imagine if these people had deboarded in Goa, how much big COVID scare and COVID panic this incident would have happened.
Well,
now it's
not any less worse if you really understand the situation here. How are they going to be quarantined? How are they going to be moved? All of that requires conversation, communication, and one can barely go. In fact, all those 66 people will have to be strictly quarantined. How are they going to go about ensuring that they're isolated from the rest? That remains to be seen. Saurabh, thank you very much for joining us. But this cruise party from Mumbai to Goa has now turned into a full-blown COVID cluster. This comes after 66 out of the 2,016 passengers on board have tested positive for COVID-19. The Cordelia cruise ship, which left from Mumbai to Goa, is now stranded at the Mumbai Port Terminal. The COVID scare was reported after a crew member tested positive and was isolated on the ship itself. The Goa government has refused permission to dock the ship in the state boundary. A medical team wearing PPE kits went on the ship to conduct a test of over 2,000 people, which includes passengers and crew members. Now, 66 of them have tested positive for COVID-19 on that Cordelia cruise ship, the same ship which was infamous for the Aryan Khan drug bust case.